Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a really fascinating, truly unique philosophical framework. We're going to explore exactly how one incredible changemaker organizes her own inner world to drive massive real-world impact. The structure of her mindset is honestly something we can all learn from, so let's just jump right into it.
Faith has a shield, it breaks the dart. Gratitude has a band, it quakes the earth. Wow, those are the opening lines of our focus today, and they just instantly pull you into this incredibly powerful poetic rhythm. Right from the start, she's setting up this amazing duality.
So, before we unpack that rhythm, let's meet the architect behind these words. This is Oluyomi Oladevid. She is a Nigerian changemaker deeply focused on global development and transformation. Now, the absolutely crucial thing to understand here is that she isn't just speaking in abstract poetry. Not at all. She tells us plainly that she loves people, she thrives on generating solutions, and she actively influences policy and strategy. So as we look at her poetic framework today, we need to view it as the deeply practical mindset she uses to navigate real-world challenges.
And, her opening lines brilliantly illustrate exactly how she operates. She contrasts faith and gratitude not as these fluffy, abstract feelings, but as actual functional tools. She views her faith as a defensive tool, literally a shield designed specifically to break the darts that life throws at her. It's her personal protection. But gratitude? She sees gratitude as this active, almost disruptive force, a band that quakes the earth. So right away we see her dual pillars in action. Her faith defends her peace, while her gratitude actively shapes her reality.
Which brings us to the core, titular concept of her piece, titled Belt Care. She writes, "Faith has a belt. It trims the waist. Gratitude has a scale. It outweighs the present." Think about that imagery of measurement and constraint for a second. She's literally using faith as a belt to trim the waist. Just let that sink in. She uses her faith to tighten up her focus, eliminating whatever isn't necessary or helpful to her mission. And on the flip side, she uses gratitude as a scale. When the current moment feels incredibly heavy, her gratitude shifts her perspective to quite literally outweigh the present. It is a perfect, delicate balancing act between discipline and perspective. Moving on, she keeps this rhythmic flow going into our next stanza. Faith has an author. It believes the truth. Gratitude has a purpose. It drives the feet. Okay, the big takeaway here is where she actually finds her grounding and where she gets her momentum. For her, faith isn't blind at all. It has an author, and she anchors it in believing the truth. That's her solid foundation. Whereas gratitude is deeply, intrinsically connected to purpose. Gratitude is the engine that actively drives the feet. It's so fascinating how she separates the two. Her belief system grounds her firmly in the truth, but her gratitude is the fuel that physically propels her forward into action.
The structure continues to build as she shifts from action to intellect and speech. Faith has a principle, it guides the lip. Gratitude has a mind, it hosts good reason.
Here, she connects faith directly to the discipline of our words. Faith operates as a principle that guides the lip. It's what determines what she speaks into the world. But look at how she views gratitude. We usually think of gratitude purely as an emotion, right? But she completely flips that. She elevates it to an intellect. She says gratitude has a mind, and it hosts good reason. For her, choosing to be grateful is a highly rational, grounded state of mind. It is a very deliberate, cognitive choice she makes. Next, she addresses how she actually sustains herself through the hard times. She writes, "Faith has a staff. It delegates the care. Gratitude has a tank. It counts mercy drops."
I just love this imagery. It's so comforting. Look at the duality here again. She uses the imagery of a staff for her faith. A staff implies leaning on something, relying on something else, which allows her to delegate the care, to essentially release her worries. Conversely, her gratitude is visualized as a tank. And how does it fill up? Not all in one big rush, but by counting mercy drops. It's a reservoir she actively fills, drop by drop, moment by moment. It really makes you wonder, as we look at her framework, what are the mercy drops filling your own tank right now?
Finally, she brings her poem to its ultimate conclusion, zeroing in on the life outcomes of these two pillars. Faith has a life. It follows the pattern. Gratitude has a tree. It yields good fruit.
This perfectly visualizes the ultimate result of her framework. Faith becomes a life that strictly adheres to a pattern, a disciplined, highly ordered way of living based on her beliefs. And because of that ordered pattern, her gratitude manifests as a tree that produces tangible, positive outcomes in the world, her good fruit. The internal pattern creates the external yield.
If we take a bird's-eye view of everything we just covered, it reveals this absolute perfect symmetry. On the left side, her faith provides the internal defense, the discipline, the truth, the guiding principles, the delegation of worry, and the life pattern. And then on the right side, her gratitude provides the external power. It quakes the earth, changes her perspective, drives her feet forward, hosts her reason, stores her mercy, and yields her fruit. It is an incredible, holistic system for living.
But you've got to wonder, what actually powers this entire system for her? Well, she tells us directly in her concluding biographical note, "My Father God owns and rules the universe. He is the wheel within my wheels."
That deep spiritual foundation, that is the true engine of this changemaker. Her belief that her Father God is the wheel within her wheels is exactly what drives her relentless passion for global development. It's the invisible force that fuels her when she's out there generating solutions and providing clarity. Her poetic framework of faith and gratitude isn't something separate from her professional work at all. It is the absolute anchor for how she influences policy and strategy on a global scale.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Oluyomi Oladevid has shown us exactly how meticulously she structures her own inner life to create massive outer impact, cultivating her gratitude tree to yield good fruit. So as we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this question to reflect on. Are you tending to the roots of your own gratitude tree? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating framework. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next explainer.